Hello leaders, my name is Shane Malcolm, Executive Director of Leadership Niagara, and this is Return on Leadership. How did you get involved in community leadership?
Well, in 2008, I went back to school to get a business degree, and I went to Niagara College. And part of that program, International Business Global Development Program, I did an internship placement in South Africa. When I was in South Africa, I was with the provincial government there and saw all sorts of really interesting innovations, social enterprises, a whole ton of really interesting things and initiatives to solve some of the social challenges they were facing. And I thought, if in South Africa they have a lot less resources than we have here in Canada,
right,
why aren't we doing as much of this really cool stuff? So I thought, when I come back to Canada, I want to see if I can sort of promote more innovations and more interesting ideas.
So was that your first time in South Africa, like traveling to that part of the world?
Yes, definitely. It was really an eye-opening experience, and I got to see how government, business, nonprofit sector, and community members are all coming together to create change and try out new ideas.
I'm sure there are many things that really stuck out for you, but what was one of those moments that you can think of from that trip to South Africa that really kind of, whether it was a light bulb moment or just really kind of zoned in a thought for you?
I would say that it was the realization of the way business was being used to empower people both socially and economically. I was in a very rural area in South Africa, and there were a lot of cooperatives being started. Food cooperatives taking people in the community who were otherwise relying on social assistance and moving them into productive jobs, but they could also have fresh fruits and produce and stuff that they might otherwise not access.
Okay.
And I thought, and they were of course ownerships and management of those operations as community members. So I thought, oh, well, if we want to sort of move the dial on engaging people economically and socially, maybe that's some things that we could look at.
Yeah, getting them involved in the process. And I know one of your favorite lines, I think, being a community change agent, is nothing for us without us, right? So that kind of speaks wholeheartedly to that concept. Like if you're trying to make change in the community, involve the people that are part of the system and will benefit from the system too.
Yeah, and I do share about that at one of the Leadership Niagara Learning Days. We've moved, and I didn't make this up, I got this from some other people, discussing the topic about how we've moved away from community coming together and doing things together without formal structures, and how we've kind of become passive and look to governments especially as sort of a vending machine for all the services and things that we need. And it's really a model that's very disempowering for people.
Right.
And we have now a sort of a learned behavior to wait for someone to hand us something. So in communities and for vulnerable people who are trying to get things to change, that need things to change to benefit them, it's really important that they be involved in the decision making, in the solutions, because who better knows a solution for something than the very people who are affected by it.
Yeah, and you had said something very interesting about what you saw in South Africa, where all layers of the society were being engaged. So the concept of having business integrated with the community activism and change, and seeing that, taking that to Canada, where you're seeing that through programs like Leadership Niagara and the framework, I guess, of community leadership programs.
Want to hear more? Stay tuned in for the next part of this series on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter.